Hey, my friends, thank you very much for joining me. This is going to be part 2 of the Cerebral Palsy VR. This is going to be the second and last part. The first part, I wanted originally to get everything into one shot, but because the weather was impending, the rain, actually it started raining very soon after, I ended the last video kind of abruptly. So because of that, I had to split this into 2 parts. I wasn't able to do everything out there in the woods around the pond. So what this is, for those who may not know yet, on Barry's channel, he put a video where essentially it's regarding cerebral palsy awareness. And within this VR response for the community, for anybody who wants to participate, and I highly encourage you to do so, it doesn't have to be anything fancy. It can be as long, short video as you want, with a lot of information, a little information. It's all for a good cause. Every little bit helps. And yeah, green is the theme. So what kind of green do you like? You know, is there anything that makes you think? When you think of the color green, what comes to your mind? Sports related, non-sports related. So I've got a little bit of both here. And I'm going to have a link down below for Barry. In case you're not subscribed to him, definitely subscribe to his channel. View the video, please, if you don't mind. And he gives all the details of how to participate in this particular VR giveaway. Actually, he's going to be doing a giveaway. So it's a lot of fun and for a really good cause. So I'm going to get right into it here. You can see a whole smorgasbord of things. And for some of you, like, what is going on? So I'm just going to go over a few of these little items here. This little guy was given to me from my godchild, Grogu, and he's presiding over this particular presentation in case, you know, I might be going off on a different direction, a tangent. He'll use the Force to ensure that I'm back on track, and I appreciate that, Grogu. Enjoy your little blue cookies. Then we've got here, of course, Sergeant Slaughter. This is when I met Sergeant Slaughter. Sergeant Slaughter, always in the green from the first time I ever saw him in the G.I. Joe cartoon and the comics, and of course, WWE in the ring. There was always the green, and especially when he was a Joe, head of the Renegades Special Training Division for G.I. Joe, Sergeant Slaughter. And then we've got, I mean, who doesn't love or fear the Gremlins? And this was given to me as a gift by, it's a NECA brand, N-E-C-A, NECA brand, and I absolutely love this figure. I mean, it brings me right back to the 80s, seeing the Gremlins. What was his name? Gamer Gremlin was the title he gave him. So he's got the old Coca-Cola, because he was in a movie theater for this. He's got the golden popcorn, which you can actually put on his head if you want to. He's got the custom glasses. I put him in a pose with that smile and his eyes glaring. He's got a retro arcade machine, a little retro, this is for the Atari 2600, for those who remember that, the joystick. And even an Atari 2600 replica of the Gremlins video game. So, love me some Gremlins. And, I mean, Slimer. Like, you can't get much greener than Slimer. The infamous ghost from the Ghostbusters, who in later productions of the Ghostbusters, the cartoons and whatnot, really was a good guy. And poor Peter Venkman always got slimed. Bill Murray was absolutely legendary in those movies. Transformer here. Got Wheeljack, one of my favorite Transformers ever. He has the Italian colors. Turns into, of course, a sports car. And just awesome guys, like a mechanic, repair, Transformer. We've got Link. And this is the first, this is like a little mint tin I never opened up. But gosh, I remember in 86, 87, first playing The Legend of Zelda. And this is what he looks like. It's just a close-up version, but the game sprite image. And I always think of green when I think of Link. I always loved as well the cross on his shield. And as a little kid, I'm thinking to myself, you know, I'm doing I'm doing God's work here. As Link, I'm going to pretend that I'm out there, you know, fighting the forces of Ganon because he's the bad guy. And yeah, it's a good thing to do. So good old Link there. And Boba Fett. Boba Fett was my very first toys. I mean, at the earliest age of my recollection as a kid, you know, Star Wars. That's what I was born into. And Boba Fett green. I mean, and I had this cool rocket-powered Boba Fett where, oh gosh, the rocket would, like you could shoot it up and connect it via grappling hook, and then he would rappel up. Uber cool. It was super, super cool. So there's that. And then, lastly, I'm going to get into the cars, but I just want to go through a couple of these little guys here real quick. So, now, nothing green on here, but for those who may or may not remember, Masters of the Universe in the early 80s was huge. And right after Star Wars, I was into He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. And I was going through some of my binders and things like that, and I came upon this, and I'm like, oh my gosh, man, this is my original as a kid. And I don't know, I must have had just like a pack or two, because most of these pages don't have the stickers, some do. But, you know, my thought when I thought of He-Man is Castle Grayskull. And yeah, so when I think of green, that's another iconic green image, the Castle Grayskull. And yeah, the good guys and the bad guys would fight over maintaining the order in the castle. And, you know, with He-Man, also he had his famous pet tiger. I don't know if yeah, I do. Battle Cat. And I do believe, you know, before He-Man turned into He-Man, he was Prince Adam, if I remember right, Prince Adam. And he would, you know, launch the sword or hold the sword aloft and by the power of Grayskull. And I just remember in the cartoon, well, of course, he would transform into He-Man. And then I remember, like, Cringer was really scared. But when he was imbued, you know, with the power of the power of Grayskull via the sword, however it worked, I don't know, Cringer became this fearsome battle cat. And then the last little item, one of the last, is this guy here. This is my original Yoda shirt from probably 1980, I'm guessing, because I think Yoda was Empire Strikes Back was his first appearance. So yeah, I was a wee lad back when I was wearing this little shirt here. And wanted to show that off. Yoda, of course, the green shirt. That definitely makes me think of green. And then we're going to get into some cards. So I went through some cards, and I've got, you know, a lot more that I could have picked, but I don't want to make this video too long for everybody. Some of my videos are a little long. But this guy right here makes me think of green. And that's Dick Green of the Athletics. Second baseman. I mean, he's wearing the green. You see the green all around him. His name is green. You can't get much greener than that, unless he himself were green. But yeah, Dick Green. When manager Alvin Dark talks about his second baseman, he is all smiles. The Athletics' 25-year-old second sacker was in the running for the Rookie of the Year award in '64 when he batted 264 average. The following season, hampered by an ankle injury, Dick was a victim of the sophomore jinx. A product of the Kansas City farm system, Rich and Larry Green was the top fielding shortstop in the Florida State League in 1960. Little fun fact there. Dick Green began his career as a shortstop, and he led the Northwest League in putouts in 1961. So, Dick Green. And then we've got Mark McGwire. You know, I was thinking of cards, and this card's always been in my memory when I think of green, because it's just the font, that coloration rather, that they used in the Topps card, and the coloration of the Athletics with the very bright green and almost yellow green combination. That definitely makes me think of green. And with the wood grain, you know, it kind of goes with the whole tree theme. So the Mark McGwire. And then I chose another McGuire because this one, that's the first thing I thought about, well, one of, were the trees. When I first saw this card, I was in love with it, man. I just thought it was the coolest card ever. See the trees in the background. He's, you know, it kind of makes him look taller than the trees, like he's a giant. And of course, he's the Big Mac, big guy. Yeah, and you got the green coloration of the A's. Move that over a little bit there. All right, and then we got this really cool card. This is, shout out to Barry, actually. Barry, this is for you since you're doing the Cerebral Palsy Awareness. This is a Jeff Bagwell Forte card. On the upper deck, it's numbered 1231 out of 2000. All shiny green. And sorry for the glare, guys, the reflection, but green on the back as well. Bagwell eclipsed 100 runs and 100 RBI for the third time in 4 seasons, 98. He also hit 43 home runs and stole 31 bases, encompassing a terrific 97 season. Bagwell is one of the most dangerous all-around hitters in the majors. One of these days, I got to tell you guys a story about an Astros game that I went to where they had an individual behind us, God bless him, but he had, let's just say he was a little too deep in his drink. And to say he was excited and enthusiastic whenever Bagwell and Biggio would head up to the plate, he made it abundantly clear to myself and my father, who had the unfortunate circumstance of sitting in front of him. I'll tell you guys that story someday. Another baseball card here, Ken Griffey Jr. on the 91 Donruss Series 2 specifically. Series 2, I think of green. And yeah, this Ken Griffey Jr., it just stands out. I don't know why. The MVP card, I just love it. Perhaps because I'm biased, huge Ken Griffey Jr. fan. So we've got Griffey Jr. there. And I'm not going to put all these guys on stands. Then this card here, I believe this was from the 2001, I do believe, Topps 50th anniversary. Warren Spahn with that green background. It's just a great contrast. The white with the green. Legendary Warren Spahn on the then Milwaukee Braves. Absolute legend of a guy. Warren Spahn. Warren showed in 1957 that he has lost none of his pitching artistry after 13 years in the big leagues. He topped the National League in wins again, struck out more than 100, and won the 5th series game. Warren won a battlefield commission during World War II. He has more 20-game seasons than any other pitcher in history. The awesome legend Warren Spahn. So that brings us to some non-sports cards. Now, this particular one did come from Allen and Ginter. And that is, what year is this, actually? I'm just curious before I dive in. 2011 Allen and Ginter. And this is actually the Sweet Elysium card. And it has seeds. You can literally take this card and go plant it if you want to. It says plant this card and watch it grow. I didn't have the heart to do it, and it does make me wonder, you know, in these particular seeds, for example, are there acids or things that will destroy the card? But I will attempt to keep it as preserved as best as possible. It's a beautiful picture, a beautiful card. And what does it say about Sweet Elysium? Sweet Elysium is an annual endemic to the Mediterranean and Macaronesia, where it grows to an average of about 8 inches. Its flowers are fragrant and typically white. As it is resistant to heat and drought, it is a popular ground cover in gardens. Yeah, I decided to hang on to that card. Now we're going into Marvel World, The Incredible Hulk. How can you not think of green when you see The Incredible Hulk? Limited edition Hulk Power Blast 5 of 9. And that was on the 94 Marvel cards. Actually, I think by Fleer. We're going to go into that because in the Marvel Masterpiece Theater, which I run on Wednesdays, we'll be going over his card. Now we're going to get into a little bit of G.I. Joe here, and that's Steeler. So one of my first, I went from Star Wars to He-Man, and then after He-Man, it was G.I. Joe. And this is before Sergeant Slaughter came along, before he was recruited by the Joes. But Steeler, he's the driver for the tank. What is it called? Mobat, I believe. And I actually still have that tank today from 1982. And if you put batteries in it, it runs. Talk about long-standing ingenuity. They just don't make them like they used to. So, yeah, Steeler was one of my first Joes ever. And I'm going to go over these Joes in detail on a later video. But yeah, Steeler. And then with Steeler, I got him right around the same time was Flash. And I think he was my first G.I. Joe figure just by itself, not with a vehicle. And I just thought he was so cool. And I like the fact that he had like a laser gun. It wasn't, like a standard issue M16 or, a type of munition that fired ballistic rounds. It actually fired lasers, and he had all those high-tech looking gear. So, yeah, I'll go over him in a future video, but I loved Flash. Then we're going to go to Lord of the Rings, Treebeard. Treebeard definitely makes me think of green. Out of anything Lord of the Rings, even more so than Gollum, the Treants, and especially Treebeard, the leader of the Treants, reigns supreme when it comes to green for me. Ancient beyond reckoning, Treebeard the Ent is one of the last of his dwindling kind, the long-forgotten tree shepherds of Fangorn forest who once strode throughout the woods of Middle-earth. A wise and slow-to-act people, the Ents are eventually motivated to awaken and lend their long-slumbering might to the fight against the darkness threatening their world. These amazing beings make their first movie appearance in The Two Towers, second in Peter Jackson's trilogy based on The Lord of the Rings. And I've read all of Tolkien's Middle-earth works. The man is an absolute genius. Talk about that another time. The Joker makes me think of green. You really can't see it very well in here, but his hair is all green. And that 89 Joker by Jack Nicholson, just phenomenal. Murder just for laughs. And I believe it's right before he breaks that mask. And I do believe... How is it? You can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs. Yeah, a strange, evil creature, flamboyantly dressed, extremely intelligent, and daring, with a relentlessly perverse sense of black humor, which is why I love him. Call him the Clown Prince of Crime. Not a good guy, but extremely entertaining, as long as you're not the one on the other end of the deal. So... I'm going to, let's see, go into just a touch here of From a Galaxy Far, Far Away. We talked about this a little earlier. This is Yoda on the, it's like a metallic card. And we all know about Yoda from Empire Strikes Back. For most of his life, Yoda, a 900-year-old Jedi Master, has been training Jedi Knights to be guardians of freedom and justice. But the Jedi have been betrayed by one of their own, Darth Vader, and Yoda has exiled himself to live in the swamplands of Dagobah, safe from the ken of the evil Emperor Palpatine. Yoda now faces one of his most difficult and perhaps final challenges, training the earnest but impetuous Luke Skywalker in the ways of the Force. And it's on the 94 Metallic Impressions cards. How can you not think of Greedo when you think of green? Greedo, one of the first bad guys that you see in the very first Star Wars film. Bounty hunter, wasn't really the best at his job, and Han shot first. It was a bad day for Greedo, but his ambition kind of got the best of him there, and he probably should have shot before he talked, but he just couldn't help himself. And then I always think of the effects. All of the bad guys fired, as far as the lasers go in the Star Wars movies, with the green lasers, from the Death Star to the Starfighters, if you notice, whereas the good guys fired with the red lasers. And it was a way to differentiate the good guys from the bad guys. Also, too, I don't have a card present, but Luke Skywalker's Return of the Jedi lightsaber, absolutely makes me think of green. Oh, love you, Princess Leia. Carrie Fisher. 3 TIE fighters move in on Luke. As Vader's center fighter unleashes a volley of laser fire, one of the TIE ships at his side is hit and explodes into flame. Vader's wingman surges around him, trying to locate the unknown attacker. And the unknown attacker, as we all know, is none other than Han Solo and Chewbacca in the Millennium Falcon, before the other wingman panics to get out of the way and knocks Darth Vader spiraling into space. Fortunately, the TIE Advance that he was flying was equipped with a hyperdrive, and that's why he was able to make it back home. I'm sure they wouldn't have left him hanging. He was an important guy. So, yeah, and then let's see here. We've just got a couple more pieces, and then I'm going to go over some nutrition really fast in regards to cerebral palsy. Nutrients that can help those that suffer from cerebral palsy. And I'll go over that in just a bit. Almost finished. So Transformers once again. This is Wheeljack, who I referred to earlier. Never do what your enemy expects you to do. And this is a set, I really wish they made these in the States. I really do. Or Japan. But they made them in China. They're really hard to get a hold of. And I had purchased some. And I just don't understand that the whole trading card game thing is so huge that the only Transformers stuff that you can get from Generation 1 is trading card game material. And while I like it, I want a whole picture of a card. I don't want a little bitty picture, a portion. So this is the second of the green Transformers that make me think of Transformers when I think of green, and that is Hound. Hound is the trusty scout. He turns into a old-style military jeep that was used in the 80s and really through the Vietnam era as well. The back forms a puzzle. But Hound, very loyal. And then these guys I wanted to show you, they're very cool. These are little holograms, kind of like the Sport Flicks. So we've got Bone Crusher. And then we have Hook. And these are all teammates, so to speak. They, how should I say, were formed together. They're part of the bad guy team, the Decepticons. And there's 5 of them, although I only have 4 of their cards here. I would love to have the 5th, Mixmaster. But the 5 combine to form a combiner known as Devastator. And Devastator, he did just that. He devastated anyone or anything that crossed his path. But yeah, in the storyline of the Transformers, they are very, very adept Constructicons. And that's Devastator. He's very tall, huge. Thinking and winning do not mix. That's his mentality. It's simply crush, destroy, eliminate, and move on. Last but not least of the cards, Garbage Pail Kids. Yesterday I tried to find the alligator, and unfortunately I did see him from a distance, and I spotted him far away, but he did not surface. So hopefully in the near future we will see alligator. I can't guarantee it's going to be this alligator, but it will be an alligator of sorts. So when I think of green, when I think of alligator, I think of green. Man, he got himself a whole super helping of fish there. And then last, Fry and Ryan. You know, it makes me think of green. Godzilla, of course, I don't have a Godzilla card. It makes me think of green. How can you not? I love me some Garbage Pail Kids. So, those are all of the cards. The last thing I want to show, and then I will wrap things up here. So, greens. Now, these are greens that I take. I try to get my greens from foods. But, you know, as we all know, it's difficult to get all of your greens unless you really spend a lot of time prepping. And if you do, good on you, because not everybody can do that. And just to make sure everybody knows, I am not in any way, shape, or form endorsed by this company. I do not receive a kickback from this company whatsoever. But I've been in this industry for many, many years. I do not currently work in this industry. But the Trace Minerals Complex brand is one of the best brands you can have. Anybody who's looking to hydrate, Trace Minerals, top notch. And I stumbled upon this. I wanted something that was relatively easy and quick to use in a greens. And it's exactly what these little packs offer. You basically just, you know, tear the pack, you pour it in water or juice. It is berry flavor. I myself have a very high tolerance to, I'm like, whatever, dude, I'm just going to chug it down. It's not a big deal. So I'm, you know, I'm easy when it comes to that kind of stuff. Some of the things I've tasted, you guys, in the past, trust me, I've developed a strong tolerance. So what we've got here, now I know it's hard to see, you've got a lot of your, so when I was talking in the video, the first part of this, I mentioned spirulina or blue-green algae, and the fact that it contains a little bit of everything. You've got, you know, some carbohydrates, you've got some protein, you've got some essential fatty acids. So we'll go over some of these. You know, most of you guys, you've heard, obviously, of fat, carbohydrates, protein, of course, sugars. Who doesn't know about the basics? Vitamin A, vitamin C, calcium, iron, sodium. You do need sodium. Now, sodium, of course, is very easily obtained in your diet, and a lot of people can get a little too much sodium. I never use table salt. It's not necessary. My food is salted fine. Now, salt in a dish, obviously. Do you have it prepared properly for taste? That's a different thing altogether. Potassium, then the greens blend. So we've got barley grass juice powder, certified organic, spirulina, which I mentioned in the video yesterday or earlier, and yeah, organic as well. Chlorella, Japanese cracked cell wall. What does that mean? Well, chlorella itself it's essentially one of the first forms of plant life. And the cellular wall of chlorella is extraordinarily difficult to break, to obtain the nutrients from. And so if you don't have the cracked cell wall of chlorella, your body's not going to absorb and utilize those nutrients. So you really want to, and I do look for the Japanese cracked cell wall. Their technology is top notch when it comes to the chlorella, and that's what you get here. Then the concentrates mineral complex, alfalfa ionic trace mineral complex. Trace minerals are very good for you. Oftentimes, the trace minerals are the minerals that you don't get enough of. You know, when you think of minerals, some of you might think, oh, you know, calcium, magnesium. There's a whole host of minerals that a lot of people don't think of. Molybdenum, and you've got, you know, copper, selenium, zinc. I could go on and on and on. So the vegetable blend, carrots. I won't go into the carrot rhizome powder. I'm not going to get into, you know, the technical laboratory terminology. Broccoli, cauliflower, spinach, parsley, fiber blend, and, you know, milligrams. So 1,306 milligrams. 1,000 milligrams equals a gram. So that's 1.3 grams, for those who may not know. Whole oat bran, apple fiber pectin, sprouted barley malt, flax lignans. So flaxseed oil, or flax seeds, or soft gels, is an amazing nutrient. It contains all of your essential fatty acids, the omega-3s. It has what's called alpha-linoleic acid, or ALA. And in your body, the ALA converts to what's called EPA and DHA, which are two omega-3 fatty acids. The omega-3s are extremely important for brain function, joint lubrication, muscular function, a whole host of things. Cholesterol, triglyceride balance. Take flax. It's really good for you. Fish oil is great for you too. So then it brings us to the antioxidant blend. So we've got pomegranate fruit, strawberry, raspberry, grapefruit, quercetin, which is a bioflavonoid, very good for a lot of things. Green tea leaf extract, decaf. Don't have to worry about that if you're eliminating caffeine. Japanese knotweed root extract. What is that good for? Well, a few things, but it contains trans-resveratrol. Trans-resveratrol is an extremely good cardio antioxidant. It's good for a lot of other things as well, but trans-resveratrol is one of the kings in the antioxidant world. Milk thistle seed extract, which contains silymarin. And silymarin is an amazing ingredient for your liver. Helps to detoxify your liver. And our liver is under assault every day from all kinds of things in the world that we are directly and indirectly responsible for. acerola cherry fruit powder, aloe vera leaf powder, turmeric, grapeseed extract, blueberry, red beetroot, mangosteen, cabbage, noni fruit, lycium or goji berry, as it's more commonly known, cassia, which is cinnamon, bark powder, very good for blood sugar stability, Atlantic kelp powder, Concord grape powder, licorice root, soy less than non-GMO. Let's see, we've got phosphatidylethanolamine, one of your fatty acids, phosphatidylcholine, very good brain nutrients, fruit and vegetable antioxidant blend, green tea leaf extract, quercetin, blueberry fruit, cranberry fruit, pomegranate fruit, raspberry, strawberry, broccoli, carrot, kale, resveratrol, again, spinach leaf, tomato fruit, wild blueberry fruit, enzyme blend, bromelain, papain, protease, amylase, lipase, cellulase. Those are different proteolytic enzymes that help with digestion, as well as they're kind of like the cleaners. We talked about the Decepticons, the Constructicons. They're kind of like that. They do things for the body to help to clean unwanted materials and help to metabolize things so that your body operates properly. And lactase, which metabolizes milk, carbohydrates, dairy carbohydrates. Then your probiotics. What are probiotics? They promote biotic activity in your body, not an antibiotic. So they're essentially the opposite of your antibiotics. They promote versus destroy. And the good bacteria. You need bacteria. Lactobacillus acidophilus, which is the most commonly found bacteria. Then you have the Bifidobacterium longum. And the Bifidobacterium is, in infancy, we have that. But as we grow, we lose it. So it's really important to be able to get that from foods, supplements. Then LKC, L-rhamnosus. So what does all this stuff do besides some of the specifics that I mentioned? How would it benefit in any way, shape, or form cerebral palsy? Well, cerebral palsy, for those who suffer with it, and I suppose I should put this, I'll move Big Mac a little bit here and just put this just so the camera can see. And it doesn't have to be this greens, guys. There are 1.5 million brands out there that make green food products. Any of the good brands. And if you want, you can hit me up anytime. I will, free of charge, of course, answer any question you may have to help guide you as best I can with all my years of experience. But there are certain nutrients that help people who suffer from cerebral palsy because it is muscular and neurological, a groups of disease in general. The fatty acids, the amino acids, those two especially, and certain vitamins and minerals, play a key role in maintaining positive neurotransmitter firing, meaning that it helps the brain fire off or send the signals to your body properly. So when you go to, let's say, baseball, swing a bat, it's not just your arms doing the motion. It's a brain-to-body communication. Your brain telling your body, okay, it's time to swing and where to swing it. Even your eyes spotting the ball and the pitch. Your brain's doing all of that. And it needs those neurotransmitters and fatty acids in order to do that properly. So people that suffer from certain diseases and ailments have a greater need for these particular nutrients and supplements than the average person who easily gets enough from perhaps their diet. So yeah, better neurotransmitter function from memory to motor skills, anything that can help improve quality of life. Also pain management to a certain extent. Some of these nutrients can help with that. This is not a miracle supplement. These greens, they're not going to overnight, I would love it if they did, but they're not going to overnight completely change a person's life. But people that suffer with cerebral palsy also have oftentimes very low energy. This helps with that because of the mitochondrial level of the cells. That's your cell's energy furnace. These things help not only with the neurotransmitters, but also cellular mitochondrial energy production. In a nutshell, you have more energy. So there's that. Also boosting your immune system. When your body's trying to, under, say, cerebral palsy, for example, that person is expending a lot of energy to basically combat what they're having to go through. A simple motion for some individuals requires a lot more effort than somebody who does not have that particular ailment. So these nutrients help a person have more energy to be able to do that easier. So I hope this helps, guys and girls, and it's for a very good cause. Thank you, Barry, for doing this, and I'm going to send this. This is going to, part 2. It is a bit lengthy, but I felt it important, at least to talk about the nutritional aspects for sure. The rest of it with the green, it's just, for me, fun, since green is the theme of this video. So I appreciate all of you guys hanging in there with me, and definitely, like I said again before, Barry's link is going to be down below. This is for cerebral palsy awareness. The color theme is green that goes along with this. Check his channel out. Check the video out. He has all of the details there. And yeah, if you happen to be watching this and you go to his channel and subscribe, let him know that Speed Racer sent you. And if you have any questions, ask him. If you have any questions, ask me. I'll forward them to Barry on your behalf. Whatever makes it easier to help this whole thing be more dynamic for what Barry is putting together here. So thank you all very much. God bless. Be safe. Go collect. Have fun doing it. And if I don't talk to you or see you before, I hope you all have a blessed and wonderful Easter week.